I now want to pivot to the budget, and Congress continues to negotiate President Trump's budget plan. There have been concerns from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle that there will need cuts from Medicaid in order to pay for his agenda. Where are you in these conversations? What does it look like on potential Medicaid cuts?
Well, I think the bill is coming together rather well. The Ways and Means Committee is wrapping up its work, and I think that we're coming up with some really great provisions that will cut taxes for our senior citizens, for working Americans, for our middle class families. I think people will be pleased to see that we're allowing these hardworking middle class taxpayers to keep more of their money. It is so incredibly important when we talk about reducing taxes that our seniors pay on Social Security, or reducing taxes on our tipped employees, or increasing the SALT deduction for people that I represent, middle class families in Staten Island and Brooklyn. These are all incredibly important provisions that will help them. Now, in the Medicaid space, we've also been very successful in pushing back on any substantive cuts, any cuts that would have an effect on the benefits that our seniors, our disabled, children with disabilities rely on, our vulnerable citizens. So we're looking to make some modest changes that will improve the program by getting rid of the fraudsters, getting rid of the illegal immigrants, and also ensuring that able-bodied young Americans are working. And so that's what our goal is, and I think we're going to be able to get there. What we've made clear is we will not support anything that lowers the reimbursement rates that our states receive right now from the federal government on the traditional Medicare, which is 50% for New York State. And we're discussing other ideas and other options here. And I think we're going to get to a good place where, we will be able to protect those beneficiaries that have relied, and who the program, by the way, was intended for: our seniors, our disabled, and children with disabilities, and our most vulnerable citizens, but also make the reforms necessary to root out the waste, the fraud, and abuse, which has become rampant, particularly in states like New York. Even our governor, our attorney general, our state controller have highlighted the abuse. There have been numerous arrests of fraudsters. And when we root that out, there's more money in the program for those people who truly need it. And that's what we want to do. Make sure we preserve it for those individuals.
The number out right now is that the Energy and Commerce Committee, which we know controls the policy surrounding Medicaid, needs to find $880 billion to cut. Is there $880 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse happening with Medicaid? I've talked to some of your Democratic colleagues, and they say no. So where is the math going to shape up there?
Yeah, well, within the Medicaid space is about $500 billion in waste and fraud over the next 10 years, so it's 500 of the 880. But then you got to remember, there's many other provisions. So it's not just going to come from the Medicaid space. There's going to be energy components to this. There's going to be broadband spectrum. There's going to be other pieces to this that can make up the rest. Now, obviously, the goal should be to get as close to 880 as possible. But if we fall short, the rules are really, even though those are our instructions in the House, the rules that really apply to the reconciliation process are the ones in the Senate, and their target was much, much lower than the House. So I think we'll figure something out in the middle between what the House and the Senate is instructing, and we can achieve this and do some good work and still preserve this important program. And the president's made clear he is not going to cut benefits for individuals on Medicaid, Medicare, or Social Security. We're not even discussing Medicare and Social Security in this process. So really, with Medicaid, it's very targeted, it's very limited. And again, it's work requirements, making sure illegal immigrants no longer benefit from these Medicaid dollars. And some of the other things, maybe the provider tax that the states are, putting a cap on the provider tax that the states are putting on medical facilities to get more federal funds. There's little things there that can make up a lot of the savings without touching the actual benefits.